Square arguably could have wiped everybody out.
Everyone.
If they were more like you guys, right? So, and then I had a question. You said you guys are the speedboat, and I pictured a really nice one. Fiserv's the yacht, and I pictured a really, really nice one. What's Visa?
I mean, Visa's the water, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Visa's God.
Without the water, you don't go anywhere.
It's he's the payment gods up there.
Welcome to the Payments Experts Podcast, a podcast of Global Legal Law Firm. We hope you enjoy this episode.
It's a unique name, PAYzli. You'll find all sorts of information about us.
What's the ZLI stand for?
ZLI?
The Z.
A different way to spell Paisley.
Yeah, PAYzli.
Easy. I like that. PAYzli. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, PAYzli. Oh, I got it.
Paisley.
PAYzli.
Got it. That is clever.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was exploring, kind of getting back into entrepreneurship, and when I went behind the scenes at T-Mobile, and I understood they were making money residually, right? The store owners were just hustling phones, right? You're as good as your next sale, right? I got inspired again through that conversation, through my teacher, and I was like, I need to find residual income, and voila, I fell into payments and have never looked back since. It's like the best business in the world.
Yeah, we love it too. I mean, that's why we like this industry. We like working with guys like you that are innovating and moving and hustling. And so I'll clarify my comment of why I would boo someone like Card Connect. One, I loved First Data. I loved working with them when they were a privately held company. It was great. They were all about the ISOs. We almost went to work for them doing their collections work. So I heard when you said collections, I was like, my man, because that's how we started out in the industry, is we would sue on the leases when people, would default on their 10 VX20s that they got leased for $100 a piece, and they had one point of sale. So anyways, that's how we got started in the space, and they were great. Their senior counsel, I consider a friend, kind of frenemies. And the reason we didn't go to work for them is because we're like, no, we don't want to get conflicted out. We're gonna have way more fun suing you guys. And then so as it progressed, and this is a topic of our last podcast, we're going, you guys don't even care about the ISO anymore. It seems like you don't even want the ISOs anymore. And Card Connect, for example, last year they sent out that notice that said, oh, we've been billing you guys wrong. You owe us $400,000 for the last, 10 years. Don't worry, we'll just take, $60K a month. So it's gnarly. So they're really operating against. So I'm just curious, and I know this isn't what we planned to talk about, but what are your guys' thoughts on, can the ISO survive, this consolidation, and that, basically the processors don't seem to have any interest in the ISO?
Yeah, I'll take that, man. I'll take that. Part of the reason, at my core, right, because, it was a pretty decent size ISO for Card Connect. And, when the acquisition happened, when you go public, right, the dynamics change a bit, right? The company changes a bit. So Card Connect transitioned into a public company, and they changed a little bit. But the worst change happened when they got bought out of the public market by First Data.
Right.
So the culture that had been built, like that entrepreneurial grind, like the support the partner mantra, that dissipated pretty damn quick.
Right.
And what I began to see is like when Fiserv came in and did a merger with First Data, like it just completely fell apart.
Yeah.
Like the whole partner ISO channel is like put to the wayside. Yeah. It was so bad, that, and I'm extremely loyal, right? Loyalty is at my core, but I'm also loyal to myself, right? I'm loyal to a company until that company kind of stops doing what they do, right? And I was back in 2017, 18 is when I began to think, I'm like, look, I can't tie myself to a company like a Fiserv, like a Card Connect that has been acquired and has no decision making ability anymore.
Yeah.
What used to take, a couple of hours, same day, issues that they would resolve for me is now taking 4, 5, 6 days, right? That's a problem for me, right? So not to knock them, look, everybody goes through an evolution, right? And, as a company, you make decisions of what you want to evolve to. They made a decision when they decided to sell to First Data. Good for them. I mean, they had a great exit. But, when you transition into this large organization, just know business is going to change. And, the partnerships that you built your core on, your business on, they're also going to experience that change. Are you willing to put them through that? Or are there other things at your core that are more important to you? To me, we're built on the partner channel, and because that's where I came from, right? We're in the people business, and when you're in the people business, you want to make sure that those people who are helping you grow are okay.
So how do you think? Let's forget Card Connect for a little bit. Sounds like none of us really can. But do you guys think the ISO has a future in this industry? Will the ISO survive? Before we were discussing, we're talking about, really.
I think with us, they do.
Yeah, so that's a loaded question, James.
Yeah, it is.
Question.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, and let me address that. Right, you're starting to see a transition where for the past 5, 6, even 7 years, large companies are merging, large companies are acquiring to eat more of the share. First Data, you have to give them props where props are due, right? I think one of the biggest, accomplishments that they've had over the years is the creation of Clover, right? Because you can't escape. You cannot escape Fiserv, right? You have to do business with Fiserv at least a little bit because the market demands it, right? They've done a great job putting their name out there. So we will use Fiserv, but we're an FSP, right? We're an FSP. And the difference between the traditional retail ISO and a wholesale ISO/FSP is, we abide by a different set of laws when it comes to how we interact with Fiserv, right? We also set up a payment rail through Visa Platform Connect. Visa Platform Connect is, they've rolled out a ton of functionality for, an ISO that's looking to have better technology to go to market with, right? So you have to bring solutions, right? But you can also strap on solutions from Visa Platform Connect in order to power your payment systems and, end market and end user products, right? So I think, yes, the ISO will survive. I think it's going to take a different level of ISO and a different level of alignment for you to survive. The traditional payment landscape where you're selling credit card terminal, that's gone, right? And it's far gone. Things that are happening right now, we're talking Web3, we're talking IoT, right? And it's moving there rapidly, right? So what is the strategy that you have in place that's going to allow you to align with a company that has this technology at their core, right? And that's what the traditional 1099 sales partner out there has to begin to ask themselves
I'm not talking about the 1099s. I'm talking about you guys. How do you guys weather the storm?
Yes, I think so. Because look, the way we're going to weather the storm is we're aligned with the largest, player in the industry, right? And that's Visa, right? So we're utilizing Visa Platform Connect in order to power our ISO, right? we also, are partners with our bank, right? So Paisley is a little bit different than your traditional ISO.
Right. Why don't you tell us what does set you guys apart?
A lot, man. A lot sets us apart. I don't want to hog the whole call. I think, but from the, when you think about some of the technology that we're rolling out, we're exploring how we can use AI, for example, in order to streamline our operations, the way we build technology, the end solutions that we're providing merchants, from chargeback mitigation to, generating reviews to, right? So think of Paisley as a very nimble, speedboat. And then think of Fiserv as a big yacht, right? Big yacht is dominant, right? It takes up a lot of space, but it doesn't move as quick, right? Because it takes a lot to move that yacht, right? But Paisley, we could implement the latest tools, the latest technology. When we see something that actually makes sense, I'll give you an example. We have a point of sale system, and within that point of sale system, one of the biggest pain points for merchants in the beauty service space, because that's kind of the vertical that our point of sale system is focused on, is reviews, right? So we got to work and we began to think about, okay, how do we recreate the reviews process utilizing some of the tools that we have access to today that didn't exist 2 years ago, right? And we put together a phenomenal process that, engages with a customer at the end of a sale, through a push notification, whether it's in-app or text message or email. Well, they'll receive a link, they click on the link, they go to a page, answer 3 questions, simple questions about their experience. And then on the back end of that, AI is going to take that information. We have embedded information within the point of sale that we understand about the consumer, understand about the business. We're going to match that data, and we're going to spit out a review that now you can push to Google, right? And we can do things like that, and we're always going to be able to do things like that, right? Fiserv is not looking to fill solutions like this, right? So there's a space for Fiserv, and then there's a space for innovative ISOs. I think the level of innovation has changed and has shifted, right? If you're an ISO that's innovating in the same way that you used to back in the 2000s or 1990, you've already lost.
Yeah. I mean, the model, what I kind of said at the beginning is, one of the reasons we love this industry, we call ourselves global because we liked our clients so much. We were, we saw global everywhere. We're like, oh, we want to sound like our clients. So we, and then interestingly, an attorney was fighting with us recently, and he said, don't you think it's a little misleading to call yourself global when you only have offices in the USA? And I had all these great responses. And one of them was like, no, we're just named after the shape. But anyways, so one of the reasons we like,
I think, to the point though, it's not just about technology, right?
Right.
So many people get it wrong. They're like, okay, technology. We don't want to talk to anybody. Look at Square, for example. They've done well. But, in my opinion, they could do way better.
They could do way better. No, I mean, all of our clients, they used to say they're sales organizations. Now they all say that they're fintech companies because, yes, you have to be. Because Square arguably could have wiped everybody out.
Everyone.
If they were more like you guys, right? So, and then I had a question. You said, you guys are the speedboat, and I pictured a really nice one. Fiserv's the yacht, and I pictured a really, really nice one. What's Visa?
I mean, Visa's the water, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Visa's God.
Without the water, you don't go anywhere.
It's he's the payment gods up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the most sensitive situations in payments can revolve around risk-related situations or underwriting situations, right? Whether it be a large merchant that you're trying to get approved as a sales partner, or you have a merchant who has funds held due to suspicious activity. These are situations that, as a sales partner and as a merchant, you really want to feel like there's white glove service happening for you. Especially as a business owner, not receiving your deposits for days or weeks can potentially, put you under. So just trying to, really have all channels of communication open with merchants and partners. That's something that we definitely put emphasis on. We're definitely a very partner-centric organization. Starting with the top, as Naeem mentioned, he's been operating in that capacity for 20 years as a sales partner. So really, we've tried to instill that strategy throughout our organization, and really just try to make it a great experience for partners and merchants, especially during difficult situations like a risk hold or a complicated underwriting package. Really just try to have direct communication.
Quick turnaround time too.
That's what we found.
There were situations where we had merchants growing at 40% per month, and literally just shouting across the room, "Chris, what can we do about this? Like, what are we willing to do?" And getting that immediate response was fantastic.
Yeah, I think underwriting turnaround and just onboarding in general. I think the speed, the faster that you can get an account submitted, underwritten, approved, equipment deployed, it's extremely important, especially to our partners that we work with, because not to throw Car Connect under the bus today, we also operate in a sales. We have a sales retail ISO relationship with Car Connect, so we're still dealing with slow onboarding times with them, whereas we try to really emphasize the speed of submission to underwriting to approval to equipment deployment.
It's good to hear. A lot
really
of
take pride in here.
We get a lot of business of merchants going, I've got reserves tied up and I can't even get to the right person's desk.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for a lot of those people that call us, we say, hey, yeah, that company that you're going after, actually we're their lawyer. So, have somebody contact us. But actually, a lot of times it works out where we go, hey, let's waive conflict, and we just represent both parties to help expedite that. But that shouldn't even have to happen a lot of time. And, for a lot of our clients, it doesn't happen because they are at least discussing it. But when you have, a draconian contract, which, it kind of needs to be, that says I can hold this money for 180 days related to the last processing activity. And, you had one chargeback, so I'm holding $2 million of your money. A lot of times it just seems a little unreasonable unless there's actual risk. I get it. Why am I going to put myself out? You're doing a business that's, you're doing a timeshare business or getting people out of their timeshares. And you've taken all these people's money and you're saying, oh, yeah, it could take, 6 months to a year, a couple of years to get you off. Sure, that person can still do a chargeback and you hold their money. But other businesses, it just seems like we see a lot of time of like, it's a little unreasonable and you're not even supposed to be able to use or play with this money. So, why are you holding it? The reason is because I can, and I like seeing big numbers on my bank account. I log into my laptop before bed. It makes me feel cozy, safe, and warm. But it's not your money, so you're holding it, just because you can, because the card brand rules don't say anything. They just say it has to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Let me make the decision. Let me look into this merchant. Give me the warning. Let me look into him, and then I'll make the decision if I want to do business with him or not. Right?
Well, I've never heard of a situation where a processor or somebody came after another processor or bank for not putting someone on match because they had a blowout account. I've never heard of that happening. So, fine, that's out there, because how would you'd have to go figure it out. But anyways, I've never heard of that happening. But I'm always scratching my head here is it's hard to get processing when you're on match. The Visa rules say you can't decline somebody because they're on match, but almost every single bank says we don't take match. So how are those banks not in violation of the Visa rules? I mean, they're in violation of Visa rules all over the place because most of them aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. You know, they rely on you guys to do it all, and then they say they're doing it, but they're not. But aside from that, how are they not violating Visa rules just for that alone?
Are we allowed to say no comment?
Credit policy.
It's a credit. So I
It
can
is
have
a
a
credit
policy that says,
that's an interesting contradiction.
gay people can't buy my cakes, but this doesn't make it okay. So, anyways, all right. Well, do you guys
Your
have
Honor,
anything
no
to add?
comment. Your Honor,
Yeah.
no comment.
Yeah. It's pleading the fifth. That's what that's called. Do you guys have anything else that you'd like to bring up? This has been good. It's good to hear a lot about your business. I think a bunch of our viewers or listeners will be interested in contacting you guys. So how about you give us what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get in touch with us is support at PAYzli.com. That's a great way for our whole team to have access to our whole team. Check us out on our website, PAYzli.com. If you're interested in a partnership or a merchant account, there's plenty of places on the website to find us.
On LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Facebook, we're everywhere, man. It's a unique name, PAYzli. You'll find all sorts of information about us.
What's the ZLI stand for?
ZLI?
The
A
ZL.
different way to spell Paisley.
Yeah, PAYzli.
Pay.
Oh, easy. I like that. PAYzli. Okay, that's cool.
Oh, PAYzli. Oh, I got it.
PAYzli.
PAYzli.
Got it. That is clever.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well,
Yeah, it's been
thank
great
you
having you guys on the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much.
listening this long to the Payments Experts podcast. We've had with us today Cara, Chris, and Naeem from Paisley. Go check them out at paisley.com. James, as always, thank you, and we will see you on the next one.
Take care, guys.
Thank you so much.
This long, and you always do that. But it's like, man, you've made it through.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Payments Experts Podcast, a podcast of Global Legal Law Firm. Visit us online today at globallegallawfirm.com.